ठीक है, thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me on this long day of International Agriculture Training Come Workshop. Uh, what topic that I have got today? It is about, okay, I have been introduced already. Myself, I am Dr. Bizi Lakshmi, and I am working on these soil microbial aspects. Then I am also associated with some organic farming techniques, and because of that, I have taken up the topic that we are discussing today. It is the role of biotic components in organic farming. So before we start further, we should just refresh our mind about the organic farming. So organic farming, as we know, it is a production system. It is a production system that keeps a sustainable relationship with the environment. It keeps a relationship that too in a sustainable way, and it helps in maintaining the soil and human health. And this organic farming system, the importance of this, it initiated because it as an answer to the environmental sufferings that we have caused because of the excess use of chemicals, excess use of chemicals in terms of what pesticides, synthetic fertilizers. So because of all these processes, all these consequences of conventional farming, we have started adopting organic farming in upcoming days. So therefore, these organic farming will be emphasizing on substituting the use of chemical inputs, which had adverse impact on the environment. So by following the principle of that, we are having quite large benefits of organic farming. It can be divided in four terms of benefits. The first one, it may be talking about the if we adopt organic farming, the farmers will also be getting some economic benefits, as we will be reducing the use of external inputs and the dependency on that. It will also be reducing the expenditure that the farmer is going to get, and they will be having some profitable and efficient production from adopting the organic farming. So this is one term, economic benefit from organic farming. Another term is that ecological benefits. So ecological benefits, it is talking about maintaining the sustainability. That the main motto of organic farming, it will be maintaining the sustainability in the environment. We will not be disturbing any of the habitats while adopting the organic farming. As we know, our intensive agriculture, with the increasing population, our intensive agriculture is disturbing many of the habitats. So if we are adopting organic farming, we will not be disturbing those habitats in all species, and we will maintain the diversity. Then overall environment will be less affected, and it will be having more friendly environment friendly system. Then another one is the social benefits. If we are adopting the organic farming, we will also be getting some social benefits. Like if we are adopting our intensive farming or conventional farming, we are using it to produce in a very bulk high amount. So in order to produce that amount, we are also giving our efforts and getting it in a large amount. So the small farmers and the marginal farmers, they are not able to participate in the production of those very high intensive agricultural production. So here we are getting the benefit from organic farming. It is that they can also start from a small area. From a small area, organic farming can also be adopted, and this is also useful for resource poor farmers, as the farmers, they don't have to go for synthetic fertilizers, pesticides. They will be using the resources that they are getting in the field itself. So that is why this is also useful for the farmers of having resource poor farmers. Then they will also be generating some employment at the community level. If a certain farmer is adopting organic farming, they will be having benefit of because we are not using any pesticides, chemical pesticides. We are not using any fertilizers. So the manual labor work, like weeding and this hand weeding, rogging, everything, tilling, everything will be done by manually. So this is why the farmers or the farm any person who is not holding any land, they can also be employed in organic farming if someone is adopting it. And lastly, in the terms of soil health benefits, if we are adopting organic farming, the soil health will be maintained. Soil health, by the term, it means ki we are maintaining the components of soil in a better manner, like their biological, physical, chemical parameters. If we are maintaining in an optimum composition, we are getting good productivity from that. For example, if we are adding organic matter, they will be directly improving the porosity. Porosity means the overall hollow spaces, void spaces inside the soil where the water will be stored, the air will be stored. So if we are adding organic matter into the soil, then they will obviously be improving that, and they are getting enough spaces where the microorganisms can also grow. Next thing, if we are adding organic matter, here I have written it neutralizes the pH. Whether the soil was acidic pH, which is not good for soil crop growth, and if the soil is having alkalinity, so that is also not good for the soil fertility. So in both the condition, this organic matter will be neutralizing the pH of the soil. And once the pH of the soil is neutralized, then all other related chemical properties, they will also be maintained. Means the fertility of the soil will be improved. So overall, if we are adopting organic farming, this will also be improving the uh, soil health by increasing porosity or physical property, that we can say. If porosity is improved, all other physical parameters will be improved. Then if pH is maintained, all other chemical parameters will be improved. And if pH maintained and physical property improve, consequently the biological factors, the microbials and the microorganisms, they will also be playing good role. So overall, these were the just brief introduction about organic farming. Organic farming, where we will not be using any kind of synthetic products. Any kind of synthetic products we will be using. So that is why the topic that we have it is the biotic component. The biotic component, by the term, you all must be knowing, it is talking about all the living things in an ecosystem. They may be animals, the plants, the microorganisms, macroorganisms, and they can also be include that. They will also be including the waste or the products that we are getting from a living thing. So, in case of organic farming, we are talking about the organic waste or compost or manures, vermicompost, anything which we can get from the products, from plant products. So these are the biotic components that we need to know and we need to manage while adopting organic farming. As we know, organic farming system, it is not at all using any synthetic part. We need to focus on the use of these biotic components, as without them, we will not be able to complete the whole productivity system. Like the whole crop cycle, we will not be able to complete it without them. So the plants itself, the first biotic component of organic farming, it is the plant itself. Along with this plant, where the productivity, what we want, the productivity from that plant, or some other plants may also be grown. So overall, the plant itself is a biotic component. Then the organic manures, when we want to apply, if we are applying, when and why. Then biofertilizers, these are containing their active ingredient as microorganisms, and they will be improving and helping in increasing the fertility. Fertility means they will be providing nutrients to the soil, and these nutrients will be available to the plants. Then next component is biotic pesticides, biopesticides and biocontrol agents. Biocontrol agent is one of the component biopesticide, but I have divided it because this biopesticide, they are the passive agents. Biopesticides are the passive agents, and they have been taken out or prepared from the plants, from plants, microorganisms. They are the product, and they do not directly kill the other prey or any other pest. They do not kill it, but they alter their growth and they hamper their growth. But the biocontrol agents is also one part of biopesticide, but they directly target the prey or the pathogens that we are talking about, which is harmful for the plants. They will be directly targeting it. And in biotic components, especially in terms of organic farming, we are also having some birds. Some birds, we have to interact them. We have to means call or attract them to come in our field, as they are the natural predators of pathogens. So these are very some important components as biotic components, which is very essential and important in order to organic farming to become a successful one. So first, let us discuss about these plants, what we can do in by altering these. So we know these while managing, we are not allowed to use the synthetic chemicals like pesticides. If we are not allowed, then what we need to do, what we have to make ourselves. If we are not allowed to take any medicines ourselves, we will be making ourselves boost, means we will be boosting our health. So we should make our system or body a healthy one. So in that case, that long term process, it is a preventive measure. So these preventive measures we should be following by modifying some of the cultural practices. Like we know, these cultural practices, they are all any kind of activities that we are doing it while we are trying to grow a crop. So if we alter something, some part, some practice, if we are altering it, if we are doing it or not doing it, or if we are doing it at a later time, at an earlier time, so like that, if we are doing some alteration in those practices, we will be able to achieve our goal of controlling the pest and diseases. So this is one of the principle or one part where we will be following the integrated pest and disease management techniques. So under this, we are using plant as a tool, and we are modifying some of the cultural practices related with any kind of plants. So the first one we will be doing is the modification of cultural practices. So what are those cultural practices that we want to modify? Instead of using, number one is use of resistant cultivars. As I have already told, in organic farming, our plant should itself be resistant enough to withstand any kind of stress or any kind of diseases that is going to encounter in their later life. So first of all, what we should think, instead of any traditional variety, we should be opting for resistant cultivar. So this is number one foremost, is that key. We have to use the resistant cultivar. Number two is the crop rotation. We are growing, crop rotation means if we are growing our same type of crops, then this may be giving us giving the power to the pathogens or the pest. The pest maybe is more, the pests are mostly included in terms of insects. So those pests will be attacking that, and they are getting their rotation, they are getting their life cycle completed each time. So what if we just change the crop? If we change the crop, then their variability or their likeliness to move on, it will be changed. So, but one thing is that rotations, if we are doing, and that pest what we are targeting, they are of highly mobile. Means if they can move from here to there very fast, crop rotation will not be helping that much. But less foliar pests like Colorado potato beetle here. Colorado potato beetle, subterranean pests. These pests, if we are doing some crop rotation, then they will be substantially suppressed with these any kind of rotation if we are doing, because they are not able to move from here to there, and if they are not getting their choice of crop, they will not be able to produce. They will not be able to complete their life cycle. So by just changing or adopting one of the cultural practices, crop rotation, it will be helpful in in controlling this Colorado potato beetle, for example. Then another one in cultural practice modification, it is the planting date and time. We don't have to do anything, but while we are planting, we have to check for our area that what type of crop we are growing and what type of insects or pests they will be attacking. So the stage of crop development is an important factor, as most of the pests, they are preferring some, or they are attracted towards some stage of the crop. For example, thrips. Here I have given these thrips. So these thrips, they often infest very early planted crops and high numbers as compared to the later planted crops. So by knowing these, what we can do, we will be planting it little late. If we are planting it little late, we will not be having any problem of thrips. So just like that, these small things in alteration of our practices, this will be helpful. And this alteration we are making in terms of our biotic component in plant. Next one is the cover crops. Cover crops, by simply it is meaning we are growing some crop in between our cash crops. We are growing some main crops. In between, we are giving some crops to sequester nutrients. Means if that crop is covering, then they are also giving some. They are not giving any spaces for the pathogens to grow on that. They are also absorbing some nutrients from the atmosphere. And when they have been harvested, or when they will die, the organic matter or remains from those cover crops, it will be included in the soil, and that organic matter itself will be again helpful for the cash crops that we are growing. These normally cover crops are short duration crops. So short duration crops and mostly leguminous crops and all we use to grow. So they are giving us our cash crops the competition with the pathogens. And the next one is again mulching. Mulching, by the term mulching, we know we are covering, we are not growing crops, but we are covering our barren soil in between our cash crops, in between spaces which is open. The soil is open where we are keeping or covering it with something. So in organic farming, obviously, we are not using any plastic mulch. We can use plastic mulch also, but here we are not allowed, and we are not using. So here we are giving any kind of means remains of the plants. So for example, straw mulches. So and it has been found that if we are doing mulching in any type of crops, they are obviously suppressing the insects when it is left open. That is why mulching is also one of the important practice that we can do and alter their this one. Or sorry, suppress the insects. For example, here also this example of Colorado beetle, they have been demonstrated as when straw mulch is applied in potatoes, then this Colorado potato beetle doesn't come up. So like that, it can also be improved. Another one, and cultural practices is also many things, many small things we need to know, and from all these informations we will be able to get around whole technique that we want to follow in organic farming. So companion planting is also quite similar to the cover crops. Here, the theory behind is that there is these plants. If they are grown in very close proximity, means if they are growing very near to each other, then the crop, they will repel or kill pest insects. They are not allowing the other plants to come nearer. So they are not giving any vacant spaces in between them. So companion planting is also sometimes useful. Just like companion planting, the next one is trap crops. Trap crops, by the name you might have heard, trap crops means we are growing another crop which is very much attractive to the pest, and means when we are growing with the cash crop, they are not attacking the cash crops, they will be alternately going towards the trap crops that we have grown. So it is located a little bit outside to our crop area, and they can be destroyed later. The next one is intercropping. track crops, planting. Then intercropping is something they are keeping. If we are growing a cash crop, and if we are growing some crops which is attractive towards any beneficial insects like which are like honeybee or any other predators, natural enemies. So they will be coming towards that crop which we have done intercropping with, and they will indirectly be helping in controlling the diseases and pests in terms of cash crops. Cash crop is the main crop that we are growing in that system, from where we will be getting the return or productivity which we want to increase. That is why our main focus is on the cash crops, and we are growing some alternative crops or some other crops in order to control the insect pest attacks. So this was all about the plants, where we are altering some of the practices that we can do, and from there we can help in managing and growing crops properly in organic farming. Without means those are the preventive measures which we have started since. These measures we have started since starting the crops, growing the crops. So these are some preventive measures. Number two, it's the organic manures. Organic manures means any of the waste products that we are getting and we are applying in the field. So it consists of anything. It consists of all the vermicompost, compost, many things which we can apply. So in fertility management, when we are applying in conventional farming, if we are applying fertilizer in higher doses, the plants will be taking up the nutrients in very high amount, in very fast way, and in very high amount. So that will be resulting in the overgrowth of that plant. So that overgrowth of that plant, it will be attracting the pest again. If they are growing properly, then they will be attracting the pest, and they will become a target. They will become a target of attack. So in organic farming, what we should do, we are not, and one this is one of the advantage, that we when we are applying organic manure in terms of anything, in form of anything, vermicompost, compost, FYM, farmyard manure, anything. But when we are applying any form of organic manure, they create a partial nitrogen stress. Especially nitrogen, it is responsible for their vegetative growth. So when they are partially giving some stress, but they are not negatively affecting the growth of the plant. So that is why what is happening, because of the little stress they are getting, they are not building up their vegetative growth in a bulk amount. So they will not be attracting any of the attacks, means any of the targets they are not attracting. So they will induce the resistance by that, and they will deter the pest attack. So by simply using our organic manures without any of the fertilizers, this simple principle will help in covering up or in making the plants resistance towards the pest attack. So this is also one of the biotic component that we are giving it to make the organic farming successful. So that was just overall organic farming that we have given. But in order to compete with that level of productivity in terms of conventional or intensive farming, where we are applying fertilizers, we also need to apply some of the additional nutrients that we can give to the plants. So the answer is biofertilizer for that. So you must be knowing from before also, the biofertilizer, it is a substance. It is a substance which contains a living microorganisms. They contain a living microorganisms, and they can be applied to the seed, the plant, the soil, or we can foliarly apply on the phyllosphere also. Then they will colonize in the rhizosphere or phyllosphere, and indirectly or directly they will be increasing the supply or availability of nutrients to the host plant, the plants which we are we want the plants to grow. So this biofertilizer is an important aspect, as it will be giving or providing most of the nutrients which was not which we were supposed to give through NPK, like chemical fertilizers, where we want to give. And these biofertilizers, they add the nutrients. They are not directly bringing the nutrients and adding to the soil. they are going and they are doing their work. Like number one is nitrogen fixation. So these some of the microbes, they are fixing atmospheric nitrogen. Our atmospheric air, it is having lots of nitrogen. So that nitrogen, it can be fixed by some of the microorganisms, and these nitrogen will be released into the soil. So that way, and instead of urea, the soil will be getting the nitrogen and the plants will be taking it up from there. Another one is solubilizing phosphorus. Phosphorus is quite important, as when we are giving an fertilizer also, after some time the phosphorus becomes unavailable to the plants. As we you also should know, that, or maybe you might be knowing also, this phosphorus is highly immobile in soil. Because it is highly immobile and it fixes to the minerals soil, and under the soil we are having lots of minerals, and these minerals are fixing the phosphorus inside them. So if it is fixed, the plants are not able to take it up, even if we have applied in terms of single superphosphate, uh, ssp, and synthetic fertilizers also. So in that time also, these groups of organisms like phosphate solubilizing microbes, what they will be doing, they will be breaking the bond that the fixation has taken. The minerals has fixed the phosphorus in their entices, in their means lattices. Then there they will be breaking the bond that in which they were whole, and they will be released. The phosphorus will be released into the soil solution, and the plants can take up the phosphorus from there. Then they are also having these biofertilizers. They can also be used in many terms of like synthesis of growth promoting substances like gibberellin, auxins, ACCDMNAs. Many of the things they are producing, and directly or indirectly they will be helping and improving the plant growth. So some very good and common examples that we are using in biofertilizers are Azoospermillum, Pseudomonas, Bacillus, Trichoderma, and in association like symbiotic association, you might have heard the term Rhizobium. This Rhizobium species is quite famous and important, as they are making symbiosis connection with the leguminous plants, and they are fixing a very high amount of atmospheric nitrogen from the air. So it can be divided, the organisms can be divided again based on the type of microorganisms. Like for if bacterial biofertilizer, then Rhizobium, Azoospermillum, Azotobacter, they are all bacteria. Fungal biofertilizers is also there, like mycorrhizae. Then algal biofertilizer, we are having blue-green algae, azolla, they are all nitrogen fixers. Then actinomycetes, here also we are having Frankia. So they are all contributing towards the making of biofertilizers, and all these can be used as a component of organic farming. So just few specific examples, very important examples among the groups of nitrogen fixing biofertilizers. These are the free living, which are living very freely independently. They are not dependent on any other. They can fix the atmospheric nitrogen themselves independently. So the example is blue-green algae also can do. Then azotobacter. Azotobacter is a free-living bacteria. Then symbiotic association is there. Symbiotic association means here they are living mutually. They are getting benefit from the host plant also. The host plant is giving some benefit to the bacteria also. So one example is Rhizobium, sometimes Azolla. Azolla is making association with blue-green algae, which we call cyanobacteria also. So they can also fix atmospheric nitrogen by making symbiotic association. And the last type of nitrogen fixer, it is the associative. They are not means this symbiotic, they are dependent, they should make the association. But this associative one, they are not means it is not like it is fixed or they should be making the association, but if they make the association, they will be giving certain more amount of nitrogen fix. So that is why Azoospermillum lipoferum, this is one of the example which they associatively have relation with the plants like wheat. So these are some of the examples of nitrogen fixing bacteria. The next one, just I have already just talked about phosphate solubilizing biofertilizer. Why it is so important? Because they are not soluble, or they are fixed by the minerals, rock mineral. So that is why the breaking down of that bond, it is quite important. So if even if we are applying SSP, DSP, all those triple superphosphate, so those things they will not be able to provide if we are not nowadays. Nowadays we have come to know if we are applying these phosphate solubilizers as biofertilizer, they will be helping in breaking those bonds, and these microbial inoculants, they can substitute almost 20 to 25% of the phosphorus requirement of the plants. Just by giving them, they will simply, nothing we have to do, they will simply release the nutrients from the minerals. So that is why these groups of biofertilizer, it's also important. In terms of phosphorus, I have just now also told that they are highly immobile. They are not fixed and they are also immobile. So if certain phosphorus is present somewhere far, the plants will not be able to take it up from that far place. So what they need some extension. So in order to extend, they need some association. So this association is done by my group of mycorrhizae. So mycorrhizae, it's a fungus. Here, this is a mutualistic association where a fungal mycelia and plant roots are making the association. So here, this fungus will associate with the higher tree roots, then they will extend the roots and they will be searching for the immobile phosphorus which was present far away, and they will be taking it up and bringing it to the host farmers, and they will be available to the plants. So that is why this mobilizer is also one of the important biofertilizer aspect which we can use in organic farming. So this normal mycorrhizae was simple, but nowadays we are also having this VAM. VAM is vesicular arbuscular mycorrhizae. So they are having these arbuscles, means tube-like structure. They are carrying the tubes, the phosphorus. I'm talking about the phosphorus, but many other nutrients like zinc, sulfur, copper, potassium, aluminum, which is immobile in the plant, in the soil, they can also be taken up by this group of association. So these vesicular arbuscular mycorrhiza, what they are having, they are not only arbuscular. Arbuscles means a funnel, like tube-like system they are having where it will be transferred. But they are also having vesicles. Here also I have written vesicles, means it's a sac. It's a sac-like structure, means it's a bag where they will be storing those nutrients which they have carried out, taken from other far area, and they will be keeping it and storing. When it is needed by the host plant, they will be taking it out and giving it to the host plant. So that is why these mycorrhizal fungi, they can also increase the yield of a plot of land by 30 to 40% only when by only applying and making it association of roots, plant roots, and this fungal mycelia. So along with the solubilizers, mobilizer also plays an important role. Then overall, number third, it may be these, they are also having some plant growth promoting rhizobacteria. So any groups of bacteria which are having some of the abilities to improve the growth of the host plant, it can be considered under the PGPR. So PGPR may be because of its ability to fix nitrogen, its ability to increase the availability of nutrients, then its ability to increase the root surface area. Jitna root surface area increase hoga, utna means they will be getting the surface contact and they will be getting the nutrients. So all these things are there, and these are some of the examples of microbes which they can produce. If we know that IAA, cytokinin, gibberellin, SSC-DMNS, indole acetic acid, these are all needed by the plants, and there are certain groups of organisms if we are applying in the soil in the form of biofertilizer, they will also be acting as a producer of these phytohormones. So we are having different types: nitrogen fixers, phosphate solubilizers, phosphate mobilizers, then PGPR producers, and then we can also have decomposers. Decomposers are also very important as organic matter decomposers, because the organic matter, even if it is there, if it is not decomposed properly, the nutrients that they have taken up, it will not be converted back to the available form which the host plants can take. That is why that cycle should be maintained. So these are certain groups of biofertilizers which we can use it in as a biotic component in organic farming. So this was about that. Next one is biopesticides. I have just briefly told before about this also. So biopesticide by the term, it is simply there are certain types of pesticides. Pesticides means which will be killing the pests. They have been derived from such natural materials, like they can be derived from plants, they can be derived from animals, microbes, bacteria, and even certain minerals also they can be derived. For example, canola oil, they have the pesticidal applications and they can also be considered as biopesticides. But one difference with biopesticide and biocontrol agents that I have already talked about, it is that biopesticides, they are included in to those kind of biocontrol agents, they are passive agents. And biocontrol agents, when we are talking about, they are actively taking out the pest, and they are killing it in terms of as a parasitoid, as a predator, and they are killing all those types of pest. So biopesticides, they are having certain classes. Number one class of biopesticide, it is the biochemical pest. So biochemical piece, means if we know the theory behind and the principle behind, then we will be able to use this theory or principle in order to again control the diseases. So here, what we are doing, we are not directly killing the paste. So what we are altering here, it is we are producing some we are having some mechanism. For example, these conventional pesticides, if you are applying, they will be directly killing or directly inactivating the pest. But biochemical pesticides are something, the substance produced by the some certain groups of plant, animal. So they interfere with the mating of the mating of the paste. For example, insect sex pheromones. For example, if their mating has been interrupted, then these biochemical pesticides, because of the presence of these, their mating will be interrupted, their population will not be growing, then obviously their attack will be lower down. Then for other example is that some various scented plant products, which is very much attracted by some groups of peas, then we will keep it somewhere where we have kept the traps. That's so that the insect pests, they will be attracted towards those scented extracts, then they can be destroyed later. So these are the groups of biopesticide which we are not directly killing them, but we are altering and we are producing some non-toxic chemicals, substances, and we are making them lure to or their normal mechanism has been altered. So this is the biochemical pesticide. Another term, it is another class, it is the microbial pesticide. So microbial pesticides this microbial pesticide, it is another form of biocontrol agents. Then by microbial pesticide, they consist of a microorganism as an active ingredient. Active ingredient, they will be means we will be applying. Then for example, some fungi, if they can control certain weeds, then we will be applying that fungus to kill the or to wipe out that weed. Then so these are just examples. Then one of the very important example that we use in microbial pesticide, it is the use of Bacillus thuringiensis. The Bacillus thuringiensis or Bt genes, that if we are using this group of bacteria, then we'll be able to control most of the groups, because as they are producing antibiotic compounds. So they will be not allowing the growth of certain groups of pathogens or disease causing organisms or insect pests. So we will be directly using the microbes as the active ingredient in this second class of biopesticide. But in this third number of the last class of biopesticide, it is the plant incorporated protectants. Plant incorporated protectants, PIPs. So these are the pesticidal substances. So we will be extracting the pesticidal substances from certain plants or microbes from their genetic material, and that will be added to the resistant cultivar that we will be using it to grow in our organic farming crop field. So, for example, if our scientists, they have taken out the gene for Bt pesticidal protein, the gene which is responsible for antimicrobial production, like chrysanes. So they will be introduced into the plant's own genetic material. Then the plant, instead of that bacterium, Bt bacterium, without the Bt bacterium, they will be able to manufacture the substance and they will be able to destroy the pest without the help of any application of Bt bacterium. So this is the third class of biopesticide. So these are all about the biopesticides. So number five may be biocontrol agents. So this is part of biopesticides, biocontrol agents. But if we wanted to, what we will be doing, biopesticide and biocontrol agents, they are the curative measures. Means if something is happening, if some attack is happening, the before cultural practices or alterations that we have talked about, so those were the preventive measures which we have tried to control from the start. We don't want any of the diseases or pests to attack. But if it doesn't, or means if we can't do, if sudden outbreak is there, if certain attack is there, that time what we can do, means all fertilizer application, all these things, biofertilizer and all, everything is done. But instead of that, means in spite of that, we are also getting certain attack. So in that case, what we are having in the last resort, it is the biological control agents. So the biological control agents, these are certain groups of insect predators. By the term we know, they will be feeding on the pest. Parasitoids, they will be feeding on the eggs of the pest. Then insect pathogens, they will be causing diseases. So these are the three groups of biocontrol agents. So they certain, if any of these three things they are following, they may act like a predator, they may act like a parasitoid, they may act like an insect pathogen. They will all be considered under biological control agents. So now, if preventive measures has not worked out, then what we will be going through, it is the curative control of methods when sudden outbreak of some certain insect population is there, as we are not allowed to use any synthetic kind of chemicals. So some of the just potentially biological control, means used biological control agents for pest management, are examples under the bacteria. Just now in biopesticide, I have given the example of Bacillus thuringiensis. It is effective against Lepidopteran paste. Insect pest may Lepidopteran paste, and they are found in cotton, sunflower, vegetables like that. Means, and again, entomopathogenic fungi, means these are certain groups of fungus which is causing disease to insects. Insects like Colapteran grubs, aphids, whiteflies, Lepidopteran, Colapteran paste. So wherever we are having these groups of paste, we can apply Metarrhizum anisopli, Vivaria bacina. So these groups are effective against the Colapteran, Lepidopteran paste. Then insect predators, they are directly feeding. So what we have to do again is we should call or increase the interaction or attractiveness of the natural enemies. So these are all natural enemies like insect predators, ladybird beetle, chrysoperla species. They are all natural enemies, and we should attract and we should let these things come in our farm, and they will be feeding upon aphids, whiteflies, millibugs, etc., which is a havoc when we are growing certain mostly vegetables than when we are growing fruits and vegetables. Then insect parasitoids, as I have already told, they are attacking on the eggs of the paste. So if their egg is gone, there will not be any growth. So one very common example is Trichogramma. Trichogramma species is effective against Lepidopterans. Then entomopathogenic nematodes. We are also having certain nematodes which we can include it in as a biocontrol agent. Some they are Stenoderma, then Heterodaptites. So they are certain examples, and they are effective against Colapteran and Lepidopteran paste. Then we are also having certain viruses which we can use it as a biocontrol agent, like NPV, nuclear polyhedrosis viruses. They are also effective against very common pests, Helicoverpa, and many other Lepidopteran pests, which is mostly associated with the crops, pulses, and vegetables. So these are some very commonly used and active, which is also effective used biocontrol agents in normal days. So these are certain more some examples. Because biocontrol agents, it is useful when sudden outbreak is there, then we will be checking what we should be doing. So this is just specific example. Like if diamondback moth is a very notorious pest. So if we are giving Potatia plutelli, it is the most common larval parasitoid. So they will be attacking on the eggs of diamondback moth, and how they will be controlled like that. Then one another example is Rhinocoris fusiformis. So they also feed on all stages of Epilacna beetles, and Epilacna beetle is also one of the very havoc causing pest. So these are all some examples. Some more example is Trichoderma harzianum, Trichoderma viridi. They are effective against root cause disease causing Rhizoctonia solani, Trichoderma species. These are all examples I just wanted to side, as we are having many options, and but they are specific. We have to do research more and more. If we are growing this kind of crops, what are the diseases associated with these, then what in our hand we should be ready to tackle them. So if you are growing a potato, then for potato related diseases we should be ready about that. Then these are the certain background. So but we like biofertilizers cannot be directly replaced, cannot replace the fertilizer, synthetic fertilizer. Just like that, these biocontrol agents, they will also be not able to completely wipe out the use of synthetic pesticides. So that is not possible, but still they are very much effective. And number of these examples, Trichoderma, Bacillus, Aspergillus, they are in use nowadays, and they are helping in controlling, and they can be mostly used in integrated nutrient management. But in organic farming, we are not having as other option, so we should be focusing on these in order to control the pests that we will be encountering in organic farming. So this was all about those insight, what we can apply and what we can do when we are growing the organic farming. One last component which I wanted to talk about, it is the birds. We know we are having different natural enemies. So among the natural enemies, the birds are also natural enemies or natural predators. Natural predators, so they will be focusing or attacking the pest which we are having on our field. So for this purpose, we want to attract those natural predators or natural enemies. So in order to do that, we have to follow certain things. We have to make something. So this thing, it is called bird purchase. So bird purchase, you must have heard before also. The bird purchase are resting places. They are the resting places. If we are growing crops in a large area and we are not giving any resting places for the predatory birds to sit, rest, and look for the prey, we are not giving any opportunity for them to find their prey. So that is why what we will be doing, we will be keeping naturally or artificially anything we can do, and we will attract the birds, predatory birds, to come and rest, and they will look for their prey, and they will kill the pest for us. Means it's for their benefit, but their benefit will also be benefiting us. So artificially, if we want to prepare, we can prepare by using bamboo, wooden poles, tree branches. Anything can be kept in between the fields. Then the birds can use these places, structures, and they will be doing their work of finding their prey. So these are some of the pictures of feeding on the paste in the field, the birds. So those were the non-living, means after the death, like bamboo, trees, or branches, we are using it. On top of that, in spite of that, we can also use live bird purchase. Live bird purchase means we are having some examples, like one of the most common live bird purchase which we have. It is a Setaria species, that is foxtail millet. So foxtail millet, in most of the crops, if we are growing Setaria species in between or somewhere there, so there the birds are very much attracted towards this kind of species. Like Setaria species is very much attracting to the birds. So what they will be coming towards the these Setaria species, and they will be resting, and they will be feeding on the pest that we are having. So for a specific example like cotton field, if we are growing cotton, then we should plant Setaria in every 9 or 10 row of cotton. Means we will, these bird perches will not be covering most of the species, but in between 9 to 10 row, if we are giving some one row, they will be having enough spaces where these birds will be attracted, and they will come, and what they will do, they will prey on cotton bollworms. You must be knowing cotton bollworms is one of the biggest hectic means headache towards cotton growers. Because of this only, against this only, bt cotton has been developed. So that is why these and other insects also they feed. So that is why if we are planting Setaria in cotton field, they will be very helpful in making the live bird purchase, and they will be bring the paste. So if we are not having any other options, so what we can do means we can totally artificially prepare bird purchase. Also, we are having varieties of malleable rubber, plastic toys, various swings, aluminum rings. So where means bird purchase should be there where it is not disturbed, and the bird should feel comfortable and the enclosure, and they should have an enriching views from where they can see their prey is moving from here to there. So that is why means we know the birds are our friend. Sometimes they are notorious, but in case of praise where we want a specific things, then the birds are also our friend in terms of organic farming. If you want to control the pest outbreak, so we have come to the end of this today's lecture. We have discussed about, we have just started with organic farming and the many benefits that we are having while adopting the sustainable way of farming. And then we have talked about the biotic components, which we need to know very carefully and study properly, so that we will be able to properly grow crops by following the techniques that we need to follow in organic farming. So the importance of biofertilizers, biopesticides, biocontrol agents, even the bird purchase, then organic manures, if we are adding, then cultural practices. These things are all playing an important role in making these organic farming a successful. So as we know organic farming. In the first slide, I have told it is the production system that keeps a sustainable relationship with the environment. So here, the biotic components did play a major role in it. As it will be sustainable, it means the biotic component only they will be the major role player. Then as organic farming, they promote the natural cycles. They should be substituting the use of chemical inputs. All these every biotic components that we have talked about, they shine out differently. Means with each non-replaceable role. Means they will not be replaced by any synthetic products, but they are having very important roles they need to play. Then I have discussed cultural practices. If we have altered something somewhere, crop rotation, intercropping, cover crops, many of the things, if we have taken up, then application of organic manures and application of biofertilizers. These are the preventive measures that we have tried to control and make the system go on. So then if nothing works later on, then the curative measures like biopesticide, biocontrol agents, they play an important role when a sudden outbreak of pest and disease occurs. So that is why we need to focus, we need to have our point in the biotic components of in organic farming. That is why organic farming will only be successful when we focus on each biotic component, starting with the preventive measures we have to start with. We have to try anyhow whatever we can do, and it should be followed by curative measures. So that's all for today. The organic farming, I wanted to keep focus on that, and because the biotic components were important, that is why I have given more focus on all small to bigger components. Each and everything plays an important role in order to make the organic farming successful. So thank you.